Does the recording? Okay, good. Back to the screen. All right. So, Bachelor of Computational Design. Thanks for joining me. My name is Henk. I'm the Director of Computational Design. You can see me here in the front. So I want to talk today briefly about the one-year computational design degree. We started the one-year computational design degree in 2016 with the idea to give students from other disciplines at the beginning, mainly BE, the built environment disciplines like architecture, industrial design, interior architecture, landscape architecture, planning, and construction management, the chance to extend and augment their education with a digital direction. It's quite clear why we think that's very, very necessary and very important for a lot of students to do, because everything you will do in an office in the future will involve the use of computers, and it will extend from the use of computers to send emails or to send or to write emails or to draw section plan elevations in SketchUp, AutoCAD, or Revit. It will increasingly go into computation and computing. And firms are quite eager and keen to hire students with the skills. What I can share quickly here is a review we've done from graduates. We just looked into the internet and seen where students are. So that's from 2019 down to 2015. And as you see, there's a lot of kind of well-known firms like Cox or BVN coming up over and over again, engineering firms like Mott MacDonald, urban design firms like ETH Urban, architecture firms like Bates Smart, or architecture artist studios like Chris Fox, and so on, Architectus, and on, of people that just work in those areas. So from the students we could contact, because we only use the internet, so just using a name search on LinkedIn and other kind of profiles from where they are, I could say from the 80% we've been able to get, probably 60 to 70% of those students work in top tier architecture engineering firms within Sydney. We couldn't really get much hold on from overseas students. If they're left overseas again, it was just too complicated to follow that. So I think if you think about your future, and at the moment, the future in finding a job, unfortunately, looks not as bright as it used to be because of COVID. So most of you who will graduate in 2020 will potentially be affected from that. I think having a year where you extend your skills through a computational design degree in order to make your job ready, to make your market ready, is probably a very, very wise decision. So let's go quickly into the degree as such, what you're going to do. So what you see here is the one computational design degree, the full degree. And what we've agreed on with the university is the opportunity to give you a degree with an advanced standing, also called a one-year computational design degree, where you don't do all the courses from a degree, but we're going to give you an advanced standing of the courses you have done already through your existing degree, and we focus on really core computational skills and give you a chance there to specialize yourself to your needs, because we acknowledge that if you come from industrial design, your needs might, or your interests might be different than if you come from planning, or if you come from architecture, or from architecture engineering degree. But what you would have in all courses are some core courses that are fixed. So in the first year, you will have a computational design, a Grasshopper scripting course that just gives you an introduction into Grasshopper scripting. That kind of Grasshopper scripting gets then extended into a second course of Grasshopper scripting and a third course in Grasshopper scripting. We do that for the very simple reason, learning computer programming or designing through the computer is very, very similar than learning a language. And if I would give you one term of German language and then send you to Germany to say, good luck now, and go around in Germany and speak German, you would not succeed. You would struggle with the one term language. So what we do is we're going to give you an introduction We're going to go immediate, and we're going to go more advanced in a similar way you would learn a language. So at the end of your graduation project, you've got enough momentum, enough skills in Grasshopper that you've been able to work in a firm and work very advanced in a firm. And we back up the Grasshopper scripting language with Python scripting. So Python scripting is a text-based programming language. Grasshopper actually is based in the background on Python as a computer programming language. So this one gives you an extension to Grasshopper and enables you to develop your own tools or improve the workflows and the tools you've got within the Grasshopper environment. Naturally, when you design computationally, you design differently than you would do quite often in other disciplines. You're less focused on a grand idea, but you've been more focused on gathering various information, data packages and Excel spreadsheets and sensor data or data that exists on the web, and you collide in those data through the computer program you generate, and then out of the data in the computer program you can generate a form, and the form then could be a city, could be a structure, could be a building, could be an object. We really do all things, and we don't really mind so much if it's very large or very small. The data packages and the challenges that the project gives to us will define its later application. But for us, and I can show and talk about projects later, it does not really matter if it's an industrial design object or a planning object, so we can design with the same kind of methods and tool. Every new train station in the Western Sydney area and the urban street outline there instantly, or design small industrial design objects or anything between. So in order to understand that new way of thinking, we've got 2 courses here in computational design theory that prepares you to think differently, think computationally, so you then can apply those tools and techniques you learned here in scripting for your skills. So then in the 3rd term, we acknowledge that students come from different backgrounds and might want to do different things. So you can choose 2 out of 5 different courses, and that really depends what you want to do. So you can do another building information modeling course where you learn Revit. It's quite often used in architecture if people want to do that. If you've done the course, of course, you don't really have to do it again. There's a second advanced building information course where we're going to go deeper into programming for Revit using Dynamo and other things. But if you think that's not really the area you want to go, you can choose other pathways as well. So we've got an emerging digital technology class where we introduce you to robotic fabrication, CNC fabrication, if you want to go more towards the fabrication level, or AR, VR, gaming simulation tools, if you've been more going to a synthetic environment where you want to go later into augmented reality, virtual reality, and using the tools there. Again, for fabrication, there's another course on advanced digital fabrication where we're going to then use the robots to fabricate things. We look into new materialities, new materials, and to fabricate for those new materials. Or you can choose a course on human-machine interaction where you look more into data, sensors, sensor activations, and moving objects. So understanding how you and the machine can interact with each other for the built environment. Then at the end of T3, I will probably get in contact with you and do something that we're going to do for all our graduation students. It's a bit different in the 1-year degree. In the normal degree, we're going to do that here in this studio in T2, and the graduation project will be in T3. But also for you, around week 6, 7 in T3, I will contact you and say, so you have to do a graduation project. What skills, what kind of interest do you have in terms of a graduation project? And more importantly, do you think you want to work and partner together with a firm on that graduation project? So very, very specific for computational design in comparison to other courses. Our graduation project is coming out of industry. So over the last after the last 5 years, we've partnered with different industry partners and partner students with the industry partners. Just quickly do that. Where our students present their skills, their interests, their project ideas to industry partners in a pitch. Traditionally, so in a non-COVID world, we've done that as a face-to-face exercise. What you can see here, in where industry partners come, the industry partner present their firm, present their projects, and students then present their skills and their interest in the graduation project. And then we do a matchmaking exercise between the industry partners and the code students. So we really work here with most of the known architecture, engineering, software development firms in Sydney. If a student has a specific firm they want to engage with, we also open up that opportunity here. So we've got this year 2 students who work with some user interface or user experience firms together, because that's the career path they want to do. So the end, what we effectively do is we enable for you a matchmaking to an industry partner in this kind of stage of the project. You then work over the summer together with the industry partner and with the academics on developing a graduation project in form of a thesis. That thesis is a 4,000 to 6,000 word document that describes the motivation of the project, the research question of the project, the literature review towards the project, and then the project per se, so a prototype, an experiment, a computer program you developed. If you've been interested in what students have done, you can see on the UNSW Code conference site various theses and presentations from former students, and you also can see the topic from students here. That's the, I think, 2017 cohort, but we've got it all the way from 2019 till up to 2019 and 2020 again, where the students will present what they've been doing in terms of the thesis and the presentation, so you can get an idea what people are doing. And you can also see here the partnering different students had with their industry partner. So then you've got your thesis done, and then for non-UNSW graduates or for non-built environment UNSW graduates, so if you haven't really done a bachelor degree in an undergrad degree at the Faculty of Built Environment, you're required to do a BEAL elective. A BEAL elective is an interdisciplinary elective where different disciplines work together on projects together. So effectively, if you've been a UNSW built environment student, you would have 1 calendar year that you can get into a graduation project. So the graduation projects, or the 1-year computational design degree, traditionally starts with a year 1 intake, outline as just before on the other kind of document. But there's also a possibility to start in a T2 intake, again, where we move things around a little bit, or as you can see here, as a T3 intake. But as I said before, every student will probably come from a different background and with a different interest in the computational design degree. So we can tailor-made and customize your degree. So for example, here was one student who wanted to start in T3. Here with the BEAL kind of courses, he again was an engineering student with an engineering degree from Canada, and he's already working in a firm, and he said he only can work and study for 2 courses per term maximum. So we customized him a degree here. Naturally, then the degree will become a little bit longer than the year, but it works perfectly for him with his requirement for work and studying at the same time. So yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell the computational design degree for a 1-year degree. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I can answer questions to you now if you want.
Hi, I just had a couple questions. Having studied civil with architecture, I've done 8 courses in the built environment. So does that mean I would be required to undertake those BEAL electives as I've not done the bachelor in the built environment?
It is a good question. Do you have to do BEAL courses as an architecture of engineering as well?
No, we do. Well, some of them that so I am in my third year now, and a couple of the courses that we originally did are now under the BEAL code, but when I did them, they were under an ARCH code.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's something I need to discuss with the education manager, because the BEAL courses are, there's depth and breadth, and the BEAL courses are part of our curriculum in computational design. So if you have done them already elsewhere, there might be a chance that you don't have to do them anymore, but I have to look into detail on that. So if you please can send me an email on m.heusler@unsw.edu.au, or just go to the BE homepage where you would see me as well. Just quickly. It's my supervisor. So you would see here my email address. Send me an email and I can answer that question specifically by asking the student center if that's something you're required to do, or you can waive them.
Okay, the other thing is, having done that, I've actually already done code 1161 and I'm currently doing code 2170 because they're my electives in those 8 courses. So would that change what I would have to do as well? Like, would I still be required to do the same number of courses and just replace them with alternate computational design, or would they be counted as like the same course?
No, you have to do different kind of courses. So in order to get a bachelor degree in 1 year, you have to do a minimum of 48 units of credit.
Yep.
So we just assumed in an idle world that students have not done anything, and these are the 48 units of credits you have to do plus the graduation project.
Yep.
For your case, we would then say, okay, we could sit together again and just tailor-made a program for you where you can say, okay, how about doing then different kind of courses in T2? These are the ones for offer. Which of the ones are you interested in? Which are the ones you want to work on, and so on, so on.
Okay.
So again, it's really kind of a customized program where we've got a lot of flexibility, where I sit with the students together and say, what have you done? What are you interested in? And then we're going to develop a 1-year computational design bachelor degree for you.
Okay. And the application, I just wanted to check if we were doing that, is that still through the UAC system, or can we apply directly through?
You would just normally apply. When you apply, then you send an email, I've applied here. Can I please get advanced standing for the courses? You then have to send your existing bachelor degree with the courses you've done. So I said, yes, you've got a bachelor degree. And then we would sit together and develop a course for your needs and for your desires.
Okay.
Again, a full-time or part-time course, again, it's very, very open, depending what you plan to do.
Thank you.
Welcome. Lydia, do you have a question as well?
Yeah. Because due to the travel ban problem, I'm still overseas now. So and I do the program leave this year, like for term 1. And then if I want to apply for this voucher, can I because I will graduate actually for the architectural voucher at the end of the term 2 next year. But can I start this voucher on term 1? Because for term 1, I only have 2 courses for the architecture and the 2 courses in term 2 as well. So can I start this voucher before I graduate? It's from February, term 2, and I just do 1 course in this voucher, and then I mean to fill the year, because actually my term is not full, it's not 18 credit, but just 12 credit, and I mean it's I do 1 courses for this voucher in term 1. Can I do that?
Unfortunately, that's not possible. So in order to do a 1-year degree or do a second bachelor degree within minimum of 48 units of credit, you must have a completed first bachelor degree. So it's not really possible to still do one bachelor degree and then do the other kind of bachelor degree at the same time. That's unfortunately not possible.
Okay, yeah.
But what you can do is if you finish in T2, you could have a T3 intake as well. And we need to, develop a T3 intake for you than what you can do in T3. Again, it would be then a very highly customized offering. So it wouldn't look anything like these or wouldn't look anything like that. But we could talk together and say, so you want to start in T3. These are the courses you've done potentially already in computation design. You've done already build courses because you've been a BE student. So what can you do then in 2021 in T3 to start with the computation design degree in 1 year?
Yeah, okay. So I can start on T3 like next year?
You can start in T3. You could start in any kind of time. So if you would start your bachelor degree and you finish in T1, and you don't really have to have a graduation ceremony per se, but you just have to provide a document that says I completed all my courses, with the academic transcript. Then you could apply for the next course. So if you finish in T1 already, if that's possible, then you could start in T2 and then do certain kind of courses in T2. All is possible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then I have another question. It's like, is this like Bachelor have many computing stuff? It's like coding, and so I'm not quite sure about like if you have many like coding, like the computer science Bachelor.
Now, everybody who will teach you is long time ago is an architect. We've all been trained architect. I'm a trained architect. And Nicole Gardner is teaching as a trained architect. We've got an increased number now of computation design former graduates who teach in there. So we don't really have computer scientists teaching. We are not computer scientists. In computation design, you bridge architecture and design with engineering and science through a profound understanding of computation and computing. So the program we mainly use is Grasshopper. Here kind of some examples you can see in Grasshopper. So Grasshopper is a visual scripting language where each of those little boxes is a container. And in that container is a computer program that takes certain inputs and just generate an output. So for example, on the simplest level to explain what computational design is, when you use SketchUp or Revit, or you draw a line in a computer program, you're going to go to your interface and you click on an icon and say line, and then you're going to go to your drawing area and you click and you drag and you click again, and the line is defined. And the line is fixed after you have you don't draw a line, you say a line is defined by point, and each point is defined by an x, y, and z coordinate, and we can have then an input variable for z, for example. And if the z number changes, the point changes. And if the point changes, the line changes as well. So everything can be altered, is manipulable, and can be addressed or manipulated through parameters. And those little kind of components are then later plugins or tools that can do various things from structural optimization. So for example, there is a lot of things we've just been looking recently into topological optimization. For example, that because I just looked it into where you would have a geometry, and then the geometry would just be analyzed, and any material you don't really need structurally would be taken away through finite element analysis, and then a certain geometry will be stable, and you can use that as a design optimization. So it looks extremely complicated, but all the complication really in the Grasshopper container program that does that, taking away the material and generating certain forms. So you probably all heard about Sahadit as an architecture firm. Well, the only way to generate architecture as Sahadit is generating is through Grasshopper computational tool. You don't necessarily have to design like that. You can design very, very box standard in architecture, urban design as well. Because what it does for you is not only just generating form, but it also generates or assists you with automating workflows. Everything that you do manually and repetitive in architecture could be automated through a computer, and that's what we train you. So yes, you need to learn certain aspects of computer programming and need to understand how a computer is working, but you don't really get trained by computer scientists, and you wouldn't really have necessarily the same capacity of computer programming as a computer scientist or computer engineer or software engineer will have. But it makes it easier to work with them together.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions for any other students that joined? Simon, hey, how you doing? You might have joined a bit later. Are there any questions you have towards the computational design degree?
Hi, sorry, yeah, I did join a bit late. So,
not a problem. We recorded that, so we can later share that recording with you, so you can see the beginning of that as well.
yeah, I was hoping to do so.
What's
so
your
what
background?
kind of jobs does this sort of lead into? So I'm a construction management student. So does it sort of fit into construction management, or is it more architecture? And
no, construction management, is actually it's a discipline that's very often forgotten, but super easily to address through computational design. So don't really think about computational design as design where you design an object. Think about computational design as well, that where you would optimize workflows towards producing architecture, civil engineering, structures, buildings, whatsoever. So I assume you work a lot with Excel spreadsheets, with data, with information, and out of the data information, you try to make sense, to calculate budgets, to optimize budgets, to optimize processes within the construction process, or potentially looking to alternative ways of producing things. All that we address with computation as well. So if you, in your construction management, project management career, in your imagination, you, for example, would see, I want to look into how you can fabricate and construct project in the future using robot fabrication, we're going to do that. If you say we want to do more analytics on how we fabricate buildings by taking existing data from a BIM model and train machine learning algorithms out of those models, we do that as well. So I can guarantee you any tier 1 developer in the next 3 to 5 years will increasingly starting hiring computational designers, because you can get so much more bang for your buck with a computational designer than with a traditional manager. Quantity surveyors, we worked with WT Partnership as a quantity surveyor, and they also said, well, what's the point of having an Excel spreadsheet when you can do far more through computer programming in there? So absolutely, construction management is very high on our radar as well, and we can do that as well. Any discipline that works with a computer will be affected through the computer, and we more or less been agnostic to a discipline. We're just going to take a problem and then apply our computational skills towards the problem.
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting, because I'm currently working as a QS, and BIM seems to keep coming up here and there, and it sounds like it's going to become more of a way of estimating. So I guess it would be very useful.
So BIM, we've got 2 courses on BIM, a beginner BIM and advanced BIM. And we don't really use BIM as a 3D modeling tool, but we're going to go to 40, 50, 60, 70. So just, time, cost, other things, but also understand BIM as a collaborative and communicative tool where you bring stakeholders together on one and the same model to enable the fabrication of a building, because all the information that are needed to construct a building are stored in BIM. But then we also look into more analytic tools where how you can get data out of BIM, how you can feed data into BIM, how can you automate processes within BIM. Because there's so much, imagine everything you're going to do twice a week, and it's related to numbers, and the relationship to numbers can be automated, and you never have to do it again. So everybody of you probably heard about solar analysis, that you do a solar analysis for a building to see if a building overshadows another building. Well, if you once write a computer program and that computer program exists, the computer program would work around the world on any location, on any building, because it always takes the geometry and the angle of the sun, and it would work. So there's so much potential in automating work that slowly the AEC, the architecture, engineering, construction profession understands, and decision makers there, that they say, hey, we only want to look into computational designers. So there's a firm, a large architecture firm in Sydney, who have hired in the last 3-4 years, I think 23 computational designers, and start hiring more and more computational designers over architects, because we can do the same thing as an architect, but by far more efficient. And Lend-Lease started a whole Lend-Lease digital department, so they are also hiring left, right, and center people with computational skills. So I think if you think about yourself and you need to work for the next 40 years, sounds daunting, but most likely when you've been in mid-20, you have to work till 65. There's one thing to stay, and that's computer and computer technology.
Yeah, that is very true. Thanks for that.
Welcome. Are there any other questions? Anyone else? No? So I think if I answered all questions, next steps would be if you want to apply for the computational design degree, and it's a normal URC application, goes to normal URC for T1 entry, if that's what you want to do. If you want to have later entries in T2 or T3, that's possible as well. It's a normal URC application. You won't apply, and you wouldn't find a 1-year computational design degree on URC. You will apply for the normal Bachelor of Computational Design, and through your existing bachelor, we'll give you an advanced standing, so you can do it in 1 calendar year if you've been a BE student or former BE student. If not, then you have to do the BIL courses. As mentioned a few times before as well, as soon as the application is in, then I will be in contact with you, or you can get in contact with me and say, hey, I've applied for URC, I got accepted, I want to A, reduce my courses, and B, I want to tailor-make my course depending on the courses we have in computational design, and when they're sequenced, to really then offer you a degree that's very much customized to your needs and to do things you want to do. So we're very, very open there, because we know, as I said before, that everybody comes from a different direction. And depending on the direction, we're just going to make the most of what we can offer to then be a construction manager with a computational design extension, or be an architect or architecture engineer with a computational design extension and understanding. So you will find easier jobs after the degree.
Okay. So this application process, are you able to send an email with everything in there?
Yes, we can do so. If you want to send me an email to this email address, mheusler.unsw.edu.au, then I just can send you more information and get you in contact with the Student Center in order to help you and assist you with the process for applying. I assume for 2021 you're looking into.
Yeah, my degree wraps up at the end of this year, and yeah, might just going on another year.
Good, yeah. Now, send me an email, please, and then I just can get you in contact with the student center, and we can start and assist you with all things. Same for Phoebe. If you want to look for a 2021 application, send me an email, and I can assist you. If you can do me a favor, if you have other friends or colleagues in your degree and they've been also a little bit uncertain of what they want to do, speak with them. We're going to hold a session again, or ask them to simply send me an email and say, hey, if you have an interest, talk to Henk and I can just give you information and send you stuff about the computational design degree, or can share that video clip with others so people can look at that at a later stage. Okay, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully see you all next year. And in the meantime, yeah, get in contact if there's anything else that you want to know. And see you soon. Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.